Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce alongside of my good pal Dylan. So we're not gonna go almost 3 hours like we did last podcast or even the podcast before. I think we went 2.5 hours. But I remember at the end of last podcast, I remember your brother asked like what projects are we looking forward to in 2024, and one of the shows we both said obviously was The Boys. And today we found out that fourth season is coming out on June 13th, and when we were in Montreal, I'm pretty sure the third season came out right. It was either a couple days before we
Season
landed in
3 finale
Montreal.
came
Yeah.
out night of the first round of the draft, which was awesome.
Because I hadn't watched it yet, but when you showed me that, I think we watched it after we got home from the draft. I was instantly hooked, and once we got back from Montreal, watched I think the show in like a month and a half, if that. And I'm so looking forward for season 2. I wish I got or season 4. I wish I had gotten into it earlier so I knew what like once that season 3 came out, we could have talked about it on the podcast. But once season 4 comes out, I mean, in the summertime, and if we talk about films and all that other stuff, we're not going to be short on topics to talk about in the off season. Like we'll just convert the PJ's Cast to a film podcast or and a TV show podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm very excited for The Boys season 4. I'm genuinely curious what direction they're going to go with that show, because they're kind of at the point in the comics where like I don't really hope they follow it. So
Have you read the comics?
Unfortunately, and it's one of the rare times where I feel like the comic isn't better than the show. Like the show just clears the comic. The comic's actually pretty bad, but like I have like I don't know, the writers on the show have
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. If anything, I'm more curious because I don't think they're gonna adapt a lot of the stuff from the comics, so they can kind of have their own take it the reins on this. So that'll be pretty cool.
And how many more seasons do you think it go? Will it be this season and then one more season, or is there like a couple more to go besides that?
I kind of feel like they're gonna go 5, but I mean, you know how these networks can get. Like Amazon might be like, we got a show for the next decade here. So
yeah,
but I don't know how long you can go of like Homelander and Billy Butcher edging each other. Like one of them's gonna have to kill each other eventually.
Yeah, one of them will have to die.
And they kind of put the life expectancy on Billy at the end of season 3, so I feel like that also plays a part into it just a little.
So yeah, it comes out June 13th, and I gotta watch Gen V in the meantime. Have you watched Gen V?
I have watched Gen V. That one's nuts, dude. Like first episode, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, that's what I was like with the first episode of The Boy, or when you show me that the season finale of season 3. So I don't think I could get phased by any of that, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I think it's only 6 episodes, but you get hooked immediately.
And it ties into it obviously ties into the main, like The Boys.
100%. Yep. I'd imagine we're gonna see a couple of those cast members in season 4 at some point.
All right. And who's I'm blanking on his name. The guy from Walking Dead is on
Jeffrey Dean Morgan's gonna be on the show, dude. It's gonna be so good. Can't wait. Love that guy. Always plays a great badass.
We brought that up on the last podcast too. Like, what did Rose say? He played a great racist.
Oh man. Oh,
speaking of race, no, that's I don't know how to transition here. So, yeah, I thought I'd open up with The Boys because we talked about last show, and I'm like, it's awesome that we talked about last show, not knowing about it, and then of course earlier today we found out about it. So I thought I would lead off with that. So yeah, we recorded that podcast on Sunday, came out on Monday. A couple Blackhawks games have happened since then. Lost both of them, of course, but that's what we've come to expect. You got to go to the one in Carolina on Monday, right?
Yeah, I was at the game. I had really good seats. It was a fun time.
From what I hear, Carolina is kind of like Nashville, where it's just such a fun atmosphere there, and it's kind of like a smaller, like compact building, so the noise really, stands out. It's always rocking.
Oh yeah, dude. It was kind of funny because when Bedard cut it to 6-3 or Johnson cut it to 6-3, like
Yeah.
sucked the life out of the building. It was pretty funny. Everyone got a little nervous there for about 10 minutes in that
Yeah,
game,
tugging
but
on the collar. Oh man.
oh
But
yeah,
yeah.
dude. But it was a great time, honestly. I mean, the Hawks like couldn't have asked for a better Bedard game to see. Obviously, they would have won. That would have been cool, but like at this point in the season, as long as the kids lighten it up, I really don't care. And he had 4 points. One of them was taken off. Like,
of course. Isn't that 2 goals you've seen taken away from
yeah,
Bedard live this year?
yep.
What's that Dr. Doofenshmirtz thing where it's like, if I had a nickel for every time Connor Bedard had it removed from watching on person, I'd have 2
For
nickels, which isn't a
offsides,
lot. Yeah, or offside, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
dude, so stupid. And like, I went and watched the highlights after the game, and I didn't realize like just how much beef Bedard and Martin were having that game. Like, it was kind of crazy because like we at one point I saw like them all lined up at center ice talking shit, and I didn't realize that started because Bedard like, or I don't know if it was Martin or Bedard, but one of them clipped each other and then kind of started.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Bedard scored the goal, and then Martin like pointed at the scoreboard with his stick. But Bedard, when they were doing the post game interview, and like Bedard scared him down, but then in the post game interviews, Bedard was just like, "Oh, I didn't even notice that." Like sometimes I mean, maybe he didn't, he didn't want to like cause any beef, but I feel like and things like that, the players don't care as much as maybe we think we want them to about things
Nah,
like
I
that.
just like that Bedard's a little shit on the ice. That's all I really care about.
Yeah,
and he's just hit another gear.
whether he meant it or not, like yeah, he is kind of doing that. I like that though.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it's like the last 2 games, like they've been competitive, but they've lost, and I feel like that's kind of what we want out of this team.
Yeah,
But I there's like 4 or 5 names on this hockey team I never want to see play for him again, and like I mean that.
Who's at the top of the list?
Let's play a game, Pierce. How many points has Taylor Radish have since Christmas?
I jiggly it. Is it? I'm guessing it's I'm gonna guess 4 points.
1.
1.
He has an assist.
Oh my god! And that was
like sometimes I feel like I'm being a hater, but then I saw that and I'm like, no,
no. You're not hating enough.
Bro, he had a 2-on-1. He had a 2-on-1 last night and took enough time to point his fucking girl out in the stands and then took the shot. Like, it baffles me. Like, there's no way this guy was that much of a Patrick Kane merchant. Like, you gotta be kidding me right now. It's crazy. And he's taking ice time from people who definitely deserve it. It's kind of a shame, but what are you gonna do?
I mean, when Boris Kachuk I'm pretty sure has more points in him, has a better offensive output, and has been scratched and gone for more games. He got sent down to Rockford, and he still has a better offensive output and just a better overall game. I mean, that's saying something.
Yep.
Yeah, it shows you how like tuned out the Blackhawks I was. Well, Bedard's gone. I didn't realize just how bad Radish was doing. It's kind of like you with Reichel when I told you had 10 points in 50 games. But I mean,
you just kind of tune out when Reichel's putting those passenger games in, and like I guess Radish does the same thing. It's just like it's a little more noticeable because you know he has it in him, like to an extent, and he just. Dude, that guy does not use his size whatsoever, and it frustrates the hell out of me. Can't imagine what the coaching staff thinks when they see that. Him being weak on the puck to someone that's smaller than him. It's insane, dude. Whatever. At least people put in an effort every night. Like the Dickinson line does, the Bedard line does.
Continually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's like 4 defensemen that do too. So that's about as much as you could ask for with an injured roster, I guess.
Yeah, and 1 goalie that's continually good.
1 goalie.
Yeah, or 5 goals, but he faced like 40 plus shots. So
good grief, dude. Oh man. Yeah, Soderblom's just not.
Yeah, I'm out on Soderblom. Like I try to be optimistic. I try to be like, okay, maybe he can go on a hot stretch, but it's a thing of, well, he's not even inconsistent. He's just bad.
Nope. Like it's bad at rebound control. Bad low, bad high. Like I don't know, man. I want him to figure it out, but he's not. And it's at the point where he's just not. Like he's 2-20.
It's just hard to take away any positives from that. Like there's no way to spin it positively, and I feel I feel we have pretty high hopes for this organization. Like we like the direction where it's going. We like the management and the coaching, but to think that they thought Soderblom was going to be their goalie of the future, that's it's questionable at best.
Yeah, I was talking to Rose about this a couple nights ago. That's my I mentioned I have my questions about what Davidson does to an extent. I don't think drafting is one of them.
No,
But
definitely not.
thinking that Soderblom could have been a 1, even if that was just you being optimistic, that's a red flag. I don't know. We'll see how Comesso and Guyan, Guyan's his goalie, but we'll see. I don't know. Like he clearly assessed talent with Mrazek this year and realized that he can't lose that asset if clearly because Soderblom is not usable. But yeah, man, I don't know. I really hope that's just like a one-off thing. But if let's say the next goalie they bring in is like similar situation, I'll bring more concern to it then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the thing of goaltending is voodoo wizardry and bullshit, but I don't know if they call up Comesso. Maybe they call up Stopper. I feel they just keep Sorblom on the team till the end of the year because there's no point in calling those guys up. But just
Ten
looking at
Commander.
yeah, exactly. But Stauber having more NHL wins last year than Soderblom has over the span of I think almost 3 seasons now. And again it's a team sport. It's not that this team has given him much help, but he hasn't done himself any favors either.
Not at all. And that's the unfortunate part because he could very easily do what Mrazek's doing right now if he wanted. Like to say that it's impossible is not true because we've seen a goalie do it 2 years in a row. Because I'd argue Stalock did it last year
Oh
too.
yeah, Stalock apps, yeah.
Like you just have to like if you can handle facing a lot of shots, you'll fit on the Blackhawks because like some goalies are better that way. We learned that with Leonard a couple years back.
Oh,
Remember?
Mrazek is probably the king of that.
Mm-hmm.
He's faced 40 shots plus more often than he hasn't this year.
I want to know if he actually has a win where he's faced less than 40 shots. I don't think it's happened. Like,
no, probably not. And if he
no,
does, it's only like a win or two.
yeah, exactly. But this team's fine. I really have no concerns. Like, it's nice to see some guys get some offensive hot streaks going. Vlasic's going through a bit of a rut, but like,
that's
I
to be
expect
expected. Yeah,
did not expect him to play perfect for 50 plus games as a 22-year-old. Like, did not expect that going into the year.
There. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, oh no, you're telling me like that can happen with young defensemen? It's like, yeah, of course it can. Brock Faber's coming through it right now, and like it just happens. Like the workload ends up becoming a lot. Like Dangle always says it on his show. It's like the season's 82 games. Like sometimes that
82 games. Yeah,
that's a lot of games. Like you gotta think about that sometimes. And like, yeah, we won all those games, so like some of these players can get these accolades and stuff. But like, man, at some point you might have to look at it and just be like, wonder if we cut the season to 70. But also it's a money thing, so it's like they're never gonna do that.
No. Did you see? Oh man, like I feel like I go to another tired of baseball with how their uniforms are looking. Did you see what? I think they were doing media interviews with the Angels players, and Mike Trout was like, "I would never request a trade. I want to stay with the Angels. I wanted to figure out, but we also need more help on the way." And then Anthony Rendon is just like, "I hate this team. Or like I hate this sport. Like this is not my number one priority. And if anything came in front of me, I would just quit." And there's other interviews of him being like, "Yeah, I wish we could cut the season to like 80 games or whatever." And like they're never not doing that, and I don't think that'll happen in any sport. Has there been a major change in games for the big four sports as of recent? Because I can't think of it.
Yeah, they added a game in the NFL. They didn't add a
Yeah,
game.
there
They
you
just
go.
took out a preseason game and made it a regular season game. But
Mm-hmm.
that's about as close as we got. And I guess maybe adding like the playoff scenarios in
That's
baseball.
what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, that with baseball, if they added the wild card round, it's not one game now. It's a best of three. They have that too.
Or
And
the play-in,
well,
I
didn't the
guess, in
NFL?
the NBA.
Yeah,
Like
didn't the
that's
NFL add it in an extra round too?
no.
I thought they did.
It's
I'm
just
just.
like the super wild card round now because there's 7 teams, so like the 2 seed
Oh,
has to play
okay.
now. So
That's what I'm thinking
that's
of.
what
Okay.
they like mega market it like that now. It's like, oh, there's
Mm-hmm.
football for 3 days,
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
This Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
exactly. Like, so every league's done their own little bit of tinkering, except the NHL. Literally, the last thing the NHL did was the stupid division thing. So that was
That was 10 years ago now.
It's like they made the Canadian division actually. Like,
That's right.
ugh, whatever.
And the
NHL's
Montreal Canadiens came out of that. Those years aren't real.
oh my god. But yeah, Hawks are still crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've talked about this. I don't know. Well, they don't have any pieces to sell off, so they're not going to
Jared
have bottom.
Tenorti.
Jared
Someone
Tenorti.
take him. I know you want him.
Same with Taylor Radish. Are you telling me someone won't be like, oh, he's only making 700 and something K. We can get trade him even just a
Yeah,
seventh
bro.
round pick for
KHL's
him.
licking their chops this offseason. Don't worry. Mm-hmm.
Bro, he's gonna be great on that line with Jake Vertanen and Brendan Lepsick, wherever they are right now.
Oh my god.
Or it's the Shaq clip of him going like ni hao, Guangdong Tigers. Send him there.
Guangdong.
So we can go into the next game. They play the Jets tomorrow. And that Carolina, I find it funny that Carolina game is the only game they play on the road this month, and you got to go to that game. It's crazy how that worked out.
Right? Yeah, it was this. It's funny. I forgot that this was the month that they have all their home games because the scheduling was just as backwards as I think I've ever seen it for a Hawks schedule. Like they have some advantages. Like they've had more matinee games on the weekends. They've had more Saturday games, which is I know something they've been trying to bang the table for. But like it's like at that cost they had to be on the road for a month basically, and when they sucked too, like it was not a good time to be on the road for a month. Let's just put it that way.
Still haven't won a road game since I think November 9th, and I'm pretty sure that was
Haven't?
the Tampa game.
They haven't won a road game since the game I was at. That's a problem.
Oh my god.
That was before American Thanksgiving, for God's sake. Like,
dude, that was 2 weeks before American.
How have you not locked into a win yet? Like, oh my god, it's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, but
and their record at home is like not as bad as it should be because of that. Whatever. This team's so backwards this year, bro. It's insane.
It reminds me of being in school and like February just being that short month because, well, I think you guys have President's Day, and then we have Family Day here, and like there'd always be teachers' convention and stuff. So we had like 4-day weekends. So we only ever had like 10 days of actual school in February. I always remember that being the thing. That's what it kind of feels like this month with the Hawks just being at home. But yeah, they play on Sunday, play the Red Wings, and if you're going back to the beginning of the season and marking your calendar for games that are probably worth watching or going to, it's this one. They're playing the Red Wings. Patrick Kane is making his return to Chicago. Well, we didn't know that at the beginning of the season. Well, we did know that Chris Chelios is having his number 7 retired, and I wanted to stream that game, but I think you said you're busy, so but I'm still gonna try to tune into
Oh wait,
it.
what time's the game at on Sunday?
I think it's 4 my time, so that'd be 6 for you. Yeah.
I mean, we could. I'd just be late to the first probably, but like we could.
We could probably make it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll work some now. Yeah.
Because I'm working close, so yeah. No, if we can work it out, that's a really good game to stream. It's gonna be a lot of people in the house. Apparently, like Michael Jordan's gonna be there on Sunday. So
oh shit, and your parents?
Yeah, totally. Tony Amante. There's a couple. I saw a list of like the people that were gonna be there. It's slipping my mind at the moment. I think Dennis Savard's gonna be there too. Like. It's going to be a packed house, and people are definitely going to get their money's worth, at least off the ice. I don't know on the ice,
the ceremony. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be a hell of a time for sure. And it's going to be nice it's nice that they're finally starting to put some numbers in the rafters that probably should have been there a while ago.
There's still Steve Larmer with number 28. It feels like I'll believe it when I see it if they retire that number because they could have done that for a while now.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do it. They should, but they won't, and it's kind of disappointing because if you ask anyone from that era, they will always be enamored of how great of a player Steve
Mm-hmm.
Armour was, and he
Just
was. Sorry.
yeah, just continually like one of the most underrated players in NHL history. I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he was. We have Patrick Kane making his return to Chicago as well. I mean, Alex DeBrincat already has made his return to Chicago, but yeah, just thinking of where this team is at now and how rough it's been watching all the losing. I remember just last year how emotionally taxing that kind of last couple weeks up to the deadline was. What is Kane going to waive his no movement clause, and if so, where's he going? And same thing with Tays. It was like, oh, ripping off the band-aid. It's like, okay, I got most of it off, and then I remember that game against Toronto where he scored the hat trick, and then we didn't know if that was going to be a send off or not. And then they traded him. It was like that last part of ripping the band off. He's like, I almost got off. It's like, oh, it still really hurts, but no, it's finally off. It's finally gone. But um, yeah, seeing him play with the Rangers last year is very weird. And like, I just remember seeing him in that Red Wings jersey, and I'm just like, man. So so much has changed. If you told me this like 10, 15 years ago that Kane would play for the Red Wings or really another team for that matter, like I would think you were crazy, but now it's just like, he's moved on and clearly things are he's doing well in Detroit, but yeah, that era is no longer. And I think Reagan said she went to the Corey Crawford retirement, like number retirement for Rockford. They retired his number for the Ice Hogs, and Crawford did an interview with Scott Powers, and it's kind of sad. Like it's I never realized the extent of how much his concussions kind of have ruined. Well, not like ruined his life, but it's made it a lot more like he wants to be away from hockey. He's done with hockey, but he has his three children. I think one of his boys is in hockey, so it's nice to see that he's still involved with his brother, but he's kind of just laying low. And then I read another article today from Scott Powers. I think he talked to Kane and Taves, and Kane was like, "Yeah, I wanted to stay a black off for the rest of my life." So it's a lot of tugging on the strings, but no matter how you feel about it, it's a different time. But that game will definitely be fun to watch on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be an interesting one for sure. I don't think there's gonna like it doesn't matter how you feel about the guy. I don't think there's gonna be a dry eye in the United Center on Sunday
Oh
when they
no,
show that highlight reel. Like
yeah,
it's
oh yeah,
they could legit take the whole first intermission and just show a highlight reel if they
mm-hmm,
wanted to. Like
mm-hmm.
that's how good this guy was for the team on the ice. And it's nice to see him do well in Detroit. I will say that I wanted to shout that out because he had the same surgery as Backstrom, and I don't think people are realizing just what he's doing right now. Just because, like, I think Backstrom played 20 games and he just called it after that.
Yeah,
Like, we've seen the extents that injury takes on a player, and I think it just shows that he's like that 1%. And he kind of
mm-hmm.
always has been, and he's always defied everything. Like, for God's sakes, he was supposed to not be back to the conference final at latest, and he was iced up night one of the playoffs in 2015. Like that's just the
Yeah.
kind of player he is. But yeah, it's gonna be an emotional one, and like DeBrincat's gonna be there too. I don't think DeBrincat's beaten the Hawks since leaving, so that
Oh
one's
really? Oh
interesting.
yeah, because we
Actually, no,
beat the Sens.
technically.
Yeah.
Technically, he won this year when we were in Detroit, but
Mm-hmm.
in
Not
Chicago,
in
I don't think he's
Chicago
ever
though.
won.
Yeah.
No, so that'll be interesting. I also don't think he's ever scored against the Hawks since he's left. It'll be
I
interesting
don't
to
think
see
so.
if
No.
Kane scores
Yeah.
against the Hawks because that'll be the
Oh
last team he needs to score against. He's
yeah.
gonna,
Has he
gonna
scored against all other 31?
yep, scored against
Yeah.
the Kraken, scored against the Golden Knights. We've scored
Mm-hmm.
against Golden Knights a couple times, but yeah, Hawks the only one he needs to get a goal on. And I remember that was like a big deal when Sharp did it a couple years back. I remember, but yeah, like you said, it's just it's a different situation than it was 24 months ago, and there's a lot of reasons for that on ice and off ice, and that's really all I gotta say about that. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a tough one to watch, but like you said, it's
Mm-hmm.
like ripping the band-aid off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for maybe two reasons. Watching because Chell, they're going to be going crazy for Chelis, but I almost feel they're going to be going crazier for Patrick Kane just because it's so
Yep.
recent in everyone's mind of him, waiving his no movement clause.
There's still such a distinct part of the fan base that
Mm-hmm.
wanted him to stay too. So like that athletic article is just going to add more fuel to the fire for that side
Yeah.
of the fan base. And I still think there is a world where he's coming back like in 3 years for one of the runs, but like it once the team's like ready to roll and he's like 40, but that's down the line. That's not happening
Yeah.
right now.
That I wouldn't say that. I don't think it does happen. But like I'm not saying it's a zero. Who knows what happens? But yeah, that would be interesting. Um yeah, Patrick Kane played 24 games, 23 points. I think most of them have been power play points, but I mean he's producing.
He's got 8 power play points.
Okay,
So
never mind. That's not even really that much of a power. I was
yeah,
thinking like, oh, he had
from what I've been
15 power
watching,
play
his
points.
line 5-on-5s. Like if you look at his analytics this year, they're way better than they've been the last 4. So I don't know if that's just a sign of his line mates he's playing with, which it very well could be. But
Well,
like
he's primarily playing with the Brinket, isn't he?
yeah,
Or
it's
is he
like the
not?
Brinket and Comfer, or but like he's
What could have
doing.
been in the Blackhawks like alternate universe?
Don't get me started, bro. Oh man, but yeah, he found his fit, so
Mm-hmm.
and it's good because I don't think the Rangers were the fit that we all thought it was. It was. It
No.
seems like it was a better fit from the jump.
Mm-hmm. Um. Yeah, we always talk about Patrick Kane, being a guy who could play into his 40s and how that's kind of a rarity now. I think even despite that surgery he had, I think he can do it. He just seems like he always avoids like physical, like the only time I can think of him getting blown up is when he took that hit from I think Petrovic against the Panthers and he broke his collarbone. But I can barely think. I can probably count to one hand the amount of times I've just seen Patrick Kane get destroyed. Like he's smart, he's evasive. The way he plays, I think he could probably go till he's 40.
The stuff that the strengths of his game do not go away. Like
No.
his brain is not going away, and his hands aren't going away anytime
Yeah.
soon. Speed was never a part of his game, and people I think need to
No.
realize that.
Yeah.
Like, oh well.
Yeah, and he's kind of done everything you can at the NHL level. Um, like he's won a Hart. He's got over 100 points twice. He's won 3 Stanley Cups, Conn Smythe. Like no doubt of Hall of Famer as it stands right now. Like he's the best American player of all time. But there's a certain guy in Toronto. I think that's coming for that mantle. But if I'm Patrick Kane, I'm completing the side quest. Like he's done everything you can. I think Patrick Kane at the back of his mind wants to be going to the Olympics in 2026 and win a gold medal with the US,
Yep.
even if he's just like a depth guy.
I agree. I think that's still on his bucket list. I don't think that's ever gone away. And I think he's looking at this team like, I'll be an extra. I don't give a shit. I want my gold medal. And
Yeah,
I think I don't care how you feel about the guy. He's earned a roster spot on that team.
you
Not
could
saying
even
he
be
should be.
captain.
Yeah, like I'm not saying he
Yeah,
should be playing top line, but
no.
like he should be at least an extra on the
Mm-hmm.
American team in 2026. Like I don't know. That's just my opinion. Also, one thing that he has over everyone, I'm pretty sure he's the only American Art Ross Trophy winner. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a big one. I don't know if Matthews is ever going to do that one, but someone might. You never know. Jack Hughes could be one that does it eventually in his
Yeah.
career if he could stay healthy. But it's going to be interesting, dude. And like I always say, that guy defined a generation of players. So you probably don't have the speed and skill of today's league if it wasn't for guys like Patrick Kane opening the door for smaller players to get a chance. Like they just didn't beforehand. Period.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I became a Blackhawks fan, seeing Patrick Kane go first overall. I'm just like, oh, here's this young core of players I wanted, cheer for this team, and obviously them getting good so quickly, going to the conference final in 2009 and winning in 2010. But there was I don't remember it, but I'm pretty sure like Patrick Kane going first overall wasn't a guaranteed thing. I'm pretty sure
No, people
Van
really thought
Riemsdyk.
JVR was going to go. Sorry.
And if
Like,
I remember correctly, I think Kyle Turris went third overall. So
yeah, it was an interesting draft to say the least. But yeah, Patrick, from the start, he's redefined the sport.
Oh,
And
Calder too. Yeah.
yep. And that was a stat Calder year too. People forget. It's just
I'm
like
pretty
a
sure Taves was second behind him, and I think Backstrom was there too.
pretty good company. Pretty good company for a Calder right there.
I want to read. Oh, we could go the whole. Actually, no. The first round's too much. I'm just gonna read the top 10 from 2007. So, of course, number one overall, Patrick Kane. Number two, JVR to the Flyers. Phoenix Coyotes selected Kyle Turson. I'm pretty sure he never played a game for, or like played a limited amount, then got traded to Ottawa. Can you guess who number 4 is? Drafted by the Kings, if that helps at all.
Jack Johnson.
That is a good guess, but no. Thomas Hickey.
Holy shit. Okay, that's a name.
And number 5, drafted by the Washington Capitals. I'm pretty sure we have a mutual who's has a name after him.
Carl Osner.
Yeah. Number 6, who's still playing in the NHL, by the way, Sam Gagner, and playing with the team that drafted him. Number 7,
full circle.
Jakub Voracek. Number 8, I barely remember this name. Zach Hamill was drafted by the Bruins. Number 9, pretty good pick, Logan Couture.
Good player.
And then number 10, Keaton Ellerby by the Florida Panthers.
Just shows how much of a crapshoot the drafts have been forever. Like,
oh my god. Okay. There were some good picks after that. Ryan McDonough went 12th. Lars Eller went 13th. Shattenkirk went 14th.
Okay, like you just went off a cliff when you went from McDonough to Eller. Like, I mean, just not.
I mean, they're not the same, but like,
no, I know. Eller's a good
yeah.
player. I know what you mean, but like, you said it like they were in the same breath, and I'm just like,
he tried to sneak Nebraska in there. Yeah.
Literally. Shout out 2017 trade deadline, Kevin Shattenkirk.
For real. So the Oilers had the 6th overall pick. They selected Sam Gagner. Number 15, they selected a guy named Alex Plant. And then number 21, they picked Riley Nash. For doing the benefit of hindsight, they could have picked like
mid bust ass. There we go. What a draft.
Yeah, they could have. In theory, they could have gone like Voracek or Couture, and then gone like McDonough. And then right after Riley Nash was Max Pacioretty and David Perron, who they got later, anyways. But yeah, not a great class from what I'm looking at.
Gee, it's almost like they were picking first overall a couple years after this.
Mm-hmm.
Surely that didn't
for
happen more
a
than
few
once,
years
right?
in a row.
Yeah, surely that didn't happen more than once. Surely, not a chance.
No, they continued their success from 2006, and that's all. They don't need any tie-in picks.
Yeah, totally. Like they totally like kept Chris Pronger and stuff, right? Like
Dwayne Rollison stayed healthy, and they won the Stanley Cup in 2006.
nightmare. And then you woke up.
Yeah. And then I was not a Blackhawks fan. PK Subban was drafted 43rd overall.
He's just like Duncan Keith. Good defenseman gets drafted in the second round. Oh my god, he's just like Duncan Keith.
Well, yeah, that's enough for the 2007 draft. I'm reading last week's podcast notes.
10-7 Wild Canucks.
Yes.
Bullshit
so
fest.
Games are getting more fun and are getting more interesting, and they're getting more crazy apparently as well. 10-7. There were 7 goals scored by the Wild in that third period alone. Like, as much as offense has gone up, like, we don't often see games that are like that are 10-7. I want to go back to the game and like read it and like kind of just re-jog my memory on how it all played out. 10-7. Oh my god. The one game I always think of crazy games was that Philadelphia and Winnipeg game. I'm pretty sure it was the first year that the Jets were back in Winnipeg, and it was like 9-8. I'm like, oh my god, I haven't seen a crazy goal scoring game like that, and that was 17 goals, and this one is 17 goals as well. So the Canucks were up 4-1 midway through the second period, and then they conceded 8 goals afterwards. So it was still 5-3 Vancouver after the second period. They were up 5-2 again. So like they held 3 goal leads twice, and then it got to the third period, and the Wild scored 10 goals. Yeah, so it went to 8-5 Minnesota, and then the Canucks made it a 1-goal game, 8-7, and then the Wild scored 2 goals and make it 9-7 and 10-7. Holy! And I want to look at the goaltending stats for that game. So
hashtag bad.
I would be better than I would have saved at least 2 of those goals I saved.
Okay.
Casey DeSmith. Okay.
Okay, pal.
What's the ninja thing? It's literally the easiest thing ever. Kicking only has to do one thing. All I have to do
is so much harder.
Yeah, all I have to do is go in the game and stop the puck. How hard could that be? So yeah, Casey DeSmith has a .680 save percentage, and
Chad, is this good?
Chat, what do we think here? And so it was both Fleury and Gustafsson. So Gustafsson had a .688 save percentage for 2 periods, and then Fleury stopped 6 of 8 in the final 20 minutes.
They each got to represent one side of the ass cheek. It was great. But also shout out Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov dueling 6-point games.
Yep. Both hat tricks.
8 goals on 17. Part of it. 8 goals on 25 shots makes my brain hurt. Oh my god.
That is literally, I'm pretty sure it's like one out of every 3 shots you take goes in.
Yes, over that. Like, just about like what the fuck? Oh my god, that's so bad. That's so bad. Oh, that's so bad. What the heck? Why did you not pull him? I don't care if you played the next night. Like, oh my gosh. That's so bad.
There comes a point where you don't want to embarrass him too much. I mean, even the Blackhawks haven't let in 10 goals this year, so I think we all know the better team is.
But Pius are 3-point games, so like something good.
That's right. 3 assists, obviously. 3 goals for JT Miller. Oh, and by the way, your so-called Calder favorite had 0 points when team had 10 goals. What's up with that?
Oh my god, stop. Like 25 minutes. Holy crap.
Yeah, he did play.
But he was just doing cardio.
Cardio merchant. He didn't have that many blocks and hits. He had 2 blocks and 1 hit. Literally doing cardio.
Not my hashtag. Not my player.
He was literally just on a treadmill the entire time. You wouldn't have noticed a difference.
Oh my gosh.
So there was that crazy game. There was another crazy game last night that I tried to stay up for. I think I had caught the first 2 periods and I just fell asleep. But Bruins beat the Oilers 6-5. Now, again, we're getting to that part of the year where I see these good teams go against each other. Now, I mean, Minnesota sucks this year and Vancouver's good, so that's not going to be a playoff matchup. But even though they're in different conferences, I look at this, I'm like, what if this could be a Stanley Cup final, the Boston Bruins and the Edmonton Oilers? I think it's within the realm of possibility. 6-5 game, Bruins won in overtime. Kind of the same thing as last game. Bruins had a 4-1 lead early on, and then the Oilers came back, tied at 4-4. Bruins take the lead, and then Oilers tied it up. But then Charlie McAvoy in overtime, they wins it 6-5. And Warren Fogle had 2 goals. Corey Perry had a goal. And Jake DeBrusk, who was an Edmonton native and has the same birthday as me, he had a goal and assist. I'm just looking at the 3 stars.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of that game, but what a crapshoot. Holy smokes. You wonder if that lights a fire under one of them to make a move or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Oilers, I think they got to trade for Gensel, man. I think Pittsburgh would be dumb not to trade Gensel because they're not making the playoffs. They don't have a first-round pick by trading Carlson. The only way you're going to get that back is by trading Gensel. Like, I think he played his last game as a Penguin, and Gensel would just be a perfect fit for the Oilers.
Yeah, for sure. You got to think they make a move. Like, you got to reward this team for how well they played the last 40 games or so.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. Like, they responded. Like, usually you ask, it's like, okay, fired the coach. Let's see you guys fucking play well. And they've played better than well. They've played
Yeah,
at
they've been the
an
hottest team
elite.
like the past 2-3 months. Yeah, ever
They
since they
played
made that
a
hire.
downright elite level.
Not only another forward, but another defenseman. They could use both, and quite honestly, they could use another goalie too. One of each position. One forward, one defenseman, one goaltender. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit of everything.
And another game last night. Austin Matthews hit his at 51 goals in 54 games, and he has having one of the best goal scoring seasons in NHL history. The last 70 goal season was, I think, Teemu Selanne in 92-93 when he had 76 goals in his rookie year, by the way. That's that's crazy. And I think the last 80 goal season was Brett Hall. It was either late 80s or early 90s. I Man, the more and more because he had another 2 goal effort last night. The more and more you go on, like it's not even that he hits 70, it's that he could be flirting with 80 goals. And it's where do you stand with him being in the heart race? Because man, I don't know if he's the favorite, but I think just with every goal he scores, like he's just moving up there for me. I mean, it's the hardest thing to do in the NHL, but then of course there's the angle of like Kucherov's gonna get like 90 assists or whatever. So what do you think about that?
I'm in the camp of Kucherov's getting that Hart Trophy no matter what. Matthews is gonna need like 70 plus, and he very well is on pace for that. But even then, like, what's Matthews gonna finish? What's Matthews like projected point total right now? Like somewhere in the like near 100. Like Kucherov's gonna probably
Yeah,
sniff one.
114 point place, which is solid, but it's not going to be 140 points or whatever Kucherov
Yeah,
is at.
Kucherov might sniff 150 if he gets hot, like hot
Yeah,
enough. And
and he
people aren't
can.
really noticing like this dude is effing carrying the Lightning right now. Like I don't think it's being talked about enough. Like yeah, you could say Matthews is carrying the Leafs as well. Like 6
hmm
hat tricks in a season is 6 wins basically accounted for by
He has
yourself.
more hat tricks than he has games with 0 goals. I'm pretty sure,
Like
like
that's a
way more.
ridiculous stat. I just think if the Lightning make the playoffs with the way this roster's constructed, and it's going to be because Kucherov's gone ape shit. Like
hmm
I don't know how you can't give it to him, honestly. Because I look at the team like let me pull up the Lightning stats right now because I don't know like I know Stamkos is having a rough year and I know Point has been streaky, but um I just I want to know like what the point differential is from Kucherov to everyone else. Okay, so Kucherov's got 94, and the next closest is Point with 58. Hedman's point a game. Thought that guy was
Um,
a bum. Hagel's got 53 and 57. Stud.
sorry, who'd you say was point per game before Hagel?
Hedman.
Oh, Hedman. I think you said. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah.
Darren Radish has doubled the points of his brother.
Of course he does. That's so funny.
Yeah, Sorelli's pretty good. Paul's pretty good. Stamkos has almost point a game. He just sucks 5-on-5.
Power play merchant.
Literally this year, bro. Like it's crazy. Obviously Sergachev was having a mixed bag of a year before he got hurt, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just looking at what Kucherov's doing right now, and I just think it's ridiculous, especially with how this team plays 5-on-5. Like he's carrying them, and even on like a good night or a bad night for Matthews, someone else in the Leafs will account for that most of the time. I'm not gonna say all the time.
Yeah, Matthews is on pace over 82 games, 77 goals, but 37 assists. Which is
It's ridiculous. It's still
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Like if he cracks 70, I'm not he should be second place or third. That's the thing. McKinnon's still cracked too. Like
yeah. And
McDavid,
McDavid's
I don't know. This might be the most competitive Hart Trophy we've had in a long time. Funny how
yeah.
both years when Matthews is in the conversation, it gets pretty competitive. Like because the year he won it, it was Shesterkin could have easily won it, and McDavid could have
hmm
easily won it.
Yeah.
So
This
it'll
is
be
as wide open as I can remember being. Like, and we even bring up David Pasternak, who is on pace, I think, for another 50 plus goal season and 82 points. And he has 82 points in 57 games. Like,
light work. They're
yeah, he's
just
on pace for like 120. But yeah, it's crazy the amount of talent in the NHL this year, and
the amount of offense,
there's
dude.
yeah,
It's
we're really at
insane.
such a renaissance for that for offensive talent in the NHL.
dude. It really is. Like you got guys bouncing back, you got guys hitting career high years, and then you still have the best of the best just doing what they do. Like Miko Rantanen's quietly just got 71 57. Like
Yeah.
Nylander's like quieted down and still has 74 and 55. Like Sam Reinhart has 22 power play goals. Like what the hell is that? It's like
Sam Reinhart might legitimately get 60 goals and we won't talk about it.
Nope, he's at 39 right now. He's looking at it. Let's see. Makar's 60 and 52. Like, if that's any other year, we're probably talking about that. Like,
I was banging the drum like Quinn Hughes' heart, like how well he's been doing too. It's
dude, you could give the heart to like 3 different dudes on the Canucks. Like, you got Miller, you got Pettersson, and you got him. And Besser's still really good. Like, Noah Dobson is quietly over point a game right now. Like, it's just the kind of season that's going on right now. Robert Thomas quietly over point a game again, as usual. Jason Robertson in a down year, point a game. Like, crazy. Crosby's got 31 goals. Like,
and Matthew Tkachuk, what was the tweet? Oh, like if he weren't such in a small market, like he'd be getting more shit. Oh, that's aged so horribly. Like he's like one of the hottest players down the stretch since Christmas.
20 goals, 45 assists. It's a good solid stat line. And
he's like, well, I think Florida just in general, like they had a lot of injuries to start the season. They kind of like took it easy, but now they're starting to get into playoff gear, and I would not want to play them. Yeah.
And I think the one part that needs to be accounted to with Tkachuk is he's shooting below 10%.
Yeah. Oh, so wait for that positive regression to hit.
It's going to be nuts. It'll count right for the time when Reinhart falls off a cliff.
Yeah. Take the wheel now. Yeah. No, it's legitimately so wide open. Just not even the players. Like you could just looking at the awards, you could pick anyone to like win the Hart. Like, or there's 5 guys you could make a very good argument for, and there's probably 10 guys you could be like, okay, I could see that. And that's with most of the awards. And then looking at the NHL, like looking at the Cup favorites, I don't know who the Cup favorite is. There isn't a team where it's like they have to win this year. Or they're toast. Like it's so wide open. Unless you think otherwise, but I think
it's that good old parody Mr. Bettman's always talking about.
Yes. Well, last year I don't think we had that, but 2022 I remember the big thing was Colorado. They had to win that year. Like that was their year. And when Tampa won those couple of years, even the COVID year, like they had to win those years. But even last year, but particularly this year, it's so wide open. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I need to cut you off. You need to just look at the tweet I just sent you. The Devils are playing the Rangers right now, and that Rempe kid just probably gave Nate Bastian brain damage. Like that was not okay. That guy's getting suspended big time.
Seattle Thunderbirds legend, by the way, and he's like 6'7" or 8 or something.
Yeah, and he just put his whole body into this head.
Oh my god.
It's not okay, dude. It's not okay. Like you see him get up and he can't get up. He's foul. Like no, Bassett's a big boy too. Like that's not a small player right there. He's just like on the other end of that.
And then he got like sandwiched too. There was another Ranger there.
Yeah, I hope he's all right.
Lord.
That did not look good.
Like, no. Oh, and just like him like getting up and going back. Oh.
Yeah, sorry. You were in the middle of talking. I didn't want you to look up and just see me going, what the fuck? Like that looks so bad. Oh my gosh. All right. Oh, all right. Sorry. That was rough.
I just see stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know how to react to it. I just have that Kitty Foreman nervous laugh. Whenever I see things like that.
God. Holy shit. All right. What's next? Oh yeah, Vegas is cap circumventing or something. I don't know. At least that's what the kids say.
Anyways, it's not cap circumvention if it's legal. I say. Hate the
game, not the player.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm completely getting that backwards. Yeah, I talked about Oilers getting Jake Gensel. They have 17 million. If they put Mark Stone on the LTIR, they'll have $17 million. And knowing the Golden Knights, like they're planning it so that Mark Stone can get back healthy enough, which is what they did pretty much last year anyways. So
yeah,
and they're
dude.
gonna like get Gensel. They're gonna steal Gensel from the Oilers, and then they're gonna beat them in round 1. Then they're gonna get they're just gonna get everything. And the thing with Vegas is they have their first round pick this year, and they have, for a team that's traded all their draft picks and have done so much winning, have a decent farm system. So they could use, and with how wide open things are, they could repeat. It wouldn't surprise me if they repeat.
All right, so this is where it gets fun because I'm looking at their roster right now.
This is where the fun begins.
First of all, top line center Nick Waugh. Second of all, second line Keegan Kolesar and Paul Cotter.
Let's go.
Yeah, Mason Morelli, that's a player. Sheldon Rempal, that's a player. Byron Frace is back in the NHL.
We're so
dude,
jacked.
Am I crazy to think this is a team that's just gonna go one-stop shopping in like Calgary or Seattle and just get 2 players?
Easily. Both. Fuck it, both.
Dude, like there's got to be a way where they finesse the system and get get like Hannafin and then find a way to get who would just be like the most Vegas signing ever to get from Calgary. Like they just find a way to, we got Mangiapane too, or like, we found a way.
Nazem Kadri half retained for the rest of his contract.
If they got Kadri with any form of retention, that would be insane, honestly. And also, like,
no, they get Dennis Gilbert and make him good.
God, dude.
Yeah,
but I also think like Seattle would just be the perfect one-stop shop for them if Seattle falls out a little more, because you could go get like a Gord and a Everly for your playoff.
Oh my God, Yanni Gord is a Vegas.
Yeah, and that just changes the whole dynamic.
Imagine playing against they could put a line of Gord, Stevenson, and Stone together.
Yep, just annoy the shit out of everyone.
Yeah.
It'd be terrible. Well, terrible for everyone else. But I think they're going to be a team that gets not just one move, but multiple at the deadline. I don't know what those moves will be. I'd have to imagine forward, but this just changes their whole dynamic, especially because they're still winning too, which is the crazy part. I think they're
still hanging in there though. They might drop to third, but not because they're not winning enough, but because the Oilers are winning so much.
But like they're still going to be in the hunt.
And they're going to be probably the toughest out of the playoffs. They're the defending Cup champions. I'm always tired of the talk. Oh, it's so hard to get deals done, like with the cap. Yeah, I get the cap hasn't gone up, but the Vegas just it's crazy how the teams that make the moves despite the salary cap are the ones that always are always good. Like Tampa Bay, no matter what, they always make moves. Julian Breezeball is always making moves. The Colorado Avalanche have made a lot of moves. Like Vegas, since their inception of their franchise, have made big moves. They don't care about prospects. They don't care about draft picks, and they're in the conference final pretty much every year, and they've won a cup. Like, it's like you don't prospect hug, and you do anything you can to get retained salary, get a third team in there, trade extra assets if you have to, but you get good players, and sometimes you get good players for cost control. Sometimes you get them for multi-years, just like what Tampa did with Coleman and Gaudreau, and I mean Tanner Jeannot hasn't worked out, but who knows?
You ready for this big rain? You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
Figured out what they're doing. Gord, Coleman, Golden Knights. They're going to reunite the line, and they're just going to throw Chandler Stevenson in the middle this time, or Mark Stone, or literally anyone, and make that line just hell.
Brett Howden,
William Karlsson, like any of those guys. Like, I think it happens. One of them.
I'm
maybe
sorry,
not both. But
the picture you sent to the chat. Oh my Lord, dude! How are they getting away with? How are they going to get away with that? They can't. You can't do that.
Yeah, don't worry. The NHL is going to have them next year too. Don't worry. It's going to say Connor.
But you're at least unless you're not going to see their jug. I hope not.
Is this the new way to cup check? Can't believe the Liberals won. This is insane.
Yeah, I can't believe Justin Trudeau wants this. He wants everyone's balls showing. Of course, and Joe Biden worked with him. It's those liberals and Democrats.
It's so true over. Oh my god.
It's so Jover. It's so true over. Yeah.
We're so
We're so we are
MLB
so Jack.
sucks. I hate the MLB.
Yeah.
Oh my
I just
god.
like the Blue Jays. I hate the rest of the MLB. It's I gotta show this picture here. I can't not. And they're so and like for the viewers. I can't, man. And there's so many of them. I have no words.
It's the meme of the day. That's for sure. That's for sure.
It's been a meme for a week now. I think like, oh,
gotta love it.
Jeez, man. And they're doing, and they're making like people are ordering jerseys like that. We've already seen the NHL like all these jerseys getting made. Like I'm gonna order Connor Bedard jerseys. It's gonna be like Connor Beard, and it'll
Connor
be like
Bearded.
88. Yeah, bearded and like 89 instead of 98.
Let's go.
Now I want to make sure to get a.
Item.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure to get an Adidas one when I get a Bedard jersey.
Dude,
oh,
I made sure to get one. I made sure to get an Adidas one beforehand. I was like, I'm not messing around with that.
And it's probably cost an extra like $100, maybe even $200, but I'd rather do that.
Worth it.
Absolutely.
At least I know it's gonna be good quality.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that with like my Beniers, my Matthews. Like I just wanted to make sure I had fucking the best one. I don't need that shit deteriorating in 5 years or whatever.
If that.
Yeah, it probably won't even last a year, let's be honest.
Oh my lord. And we're just getting a glimpse of that with baseball, but man, the NHL too. So yeah, we're getting to the end of the show here. Before we end it off here, I just want to shout out Arshdeep Bains of the Vancouver Canucks. He made his debut, I think, the other night, and he, I think, is the fifth Punjabi player to make it to the NHL. I think I have it saved here somewhere. If I don't think I do. I'm pretty sure he's the fifth, alongside like Jujhar Khaira made his debut as well. So we love to see that. Canada, I think, has the third largest Punjabi population in the world behind India and Pakistan. I think his dad is from India, so yeah, seeing him get the chance in the NHL, playing for a Canadian team as well, like that's so awesome. Just want to shout that out.
Oh yeah, dude, it's stuff like that that makes the season so much fun. Like it's the bright moments like that should be lifted instead of the terrible stuff that goes on in this league. Like it's the good stuff like that reminds you, like, oh, this is why this league's fun sometimes. Like,
yeah, it helps reaffirm like, oh, there's good things that happen in the world. It's not all negative.
And it's just because it's someone for people to look up to too, which is awesome.
Seeing, it's always a thing of seeing is believing, and it's there's so many things to be pessimistic about. But
trade alert. Alex Nylander is a Columbus Blue Jacket. For Emil Benstrom. This is the most belchy coated trade I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god. For Emil Benstrom?
Yeah, that's the trade. It's Nylander and a 6 for Benstrom.
God. I'm so glad we got that.
I just see like breaking trade and I'm like, Alex Nylander, are you fucking kidding me? Like, is that breaking? Is it really? Also, like, Benstrom.
Is it news even?
Is Benstrom finally going to live up to his potential with Crosby and Malkin? Probably not.
Yeah, he's going to get 30-30.
But remember, his analytics are mid, so he's probably good.
I need to see. So Alex Nylander, 5 games played, 0 points. I mean, yeah, that's so underrated. How good that Lafferty for Nylander trade was. Like, damn. Yeah, and he hasn't even played 100 career games yet. He's going to be 26 at the beginning of March. 34 points in 98 games. This year in the AHL, he has 32 points in 43 games. That's solid, but not great for a guy that you picked 8th overall.
Nope. And
That's
it's just
interesting.
crazy that like they always talk about work ethic with the Nylanders, and the levels of work ethic between Alex and William is insane. Like,
and everyone says that Nylander never tries. Yeah, that should speak to how much effort Alex Nylander puts in.
Speak volumes, right?
And for Emil Bemstrom, he has 11 points in 32 games. That's not the worst.
Sounds like what he does every year. But guys, he's good, I swear.
He's a year younger than.
You just gotta put up the numbers. Like, you can't just somewhat put up numbers. You know what I mean?
If I were an insider, like, this is not something I would be tweeting out. Like, they do the waivers every day. Like, if I were an insider, especially an insider of that magnitude, like, if I'm Frege, like, I'm not tweeting any of that stuff. Like, I'm staying quiet until like a big trade happens. Like, I'm not tweeting all that stuff or even retweeting it for that matter.
Facts. It just seems like a waste of time, you know. But
yeah,
like there's gonna be some stupid Blue Jacket fan out there like, why did you not tweet this trade?
Because it doesn't matter. Next question.
Facts. No. Next.
All right. I think we can wrap up the podcast here. We did exactly what I wanted to do. That's hit an hour. Do you have any closing thoughts, or we can wrap this up?
No, good show today. Let's hope the Hawks can get a win this weekend. That'd be fun.
If they can win that Detroit game, I'll be happy.
Oh, that'd be awesome to win the Detroit game. That's a good point. That would be sweet.
I mean, they play Winnipeg in Chicago tomorrow. Last time Winnipeg was in Chicago, they won, and Winnipeg's kind of slumping, so maybe they can get in there, maybe string together a nice winning streak, you know?
Maybe win 2 games in a row for once. That'd be cool.
Oh, now that you bring that up, winning games in a row, I saw something. I swear to God, I bet. Okay, this is from Aaron Portsline. Speaking of the Blue Jackets, Columbus Blue Jackets haven't won 2 games in a row, not just regulation wins, any form of win, since November 24th. That's 32 games. They haven't won 3 in a row since March 16th, 2022, nearly 2 years. That's 157 games.
What?
And trading for Alex Nylander is going to help that all.
Oh my God! Why Jarmo Kekalainen had a job way longer than he should have. That's all we're leaving on. Jesus.
It was all part of the long plan of the Blackhawks to make sure that Stan Bowman made horrible trades to make sure that Jarmo Kekalainen kept his job 5 years too long. So,
dude, middling former Blackhawks and finding their way to Columbus. It's a never-ending story. Connor Murphy, you're next. Goldberg,
pack your shit. Jared Tonordi, join him too, and Taylor Radish.
Let's go. Taylor Radish for I don't even know.
Tate McRae's ex-boyfriend.
Give me Erica Branson. I want to laugh.
Half retained.
Please, no. We need to hit the floor, silly.
We need all of his money.
Come on now.
And we'll take what's another bad contract they have?
Sean Corrali.
We'll take that too.
There's your new Brent Seabrook contract for the next 2 years.
With 2 different players, it adds up to the Seabrook contract.
It does. Oh, yeah. Doesn't his contract end this year finally? Or is it next year? No, it is this year because it was the year.
Seabrook? Yeah, I think it is this year.
Man, I remember when he signed that thing. Oh boy.
Yeah, we're starting to get to the point where all those 8-year contracts that were signed 10 years ago, like, most of them are ending now. Like, I think I saw Crosby's eligible to sign extension on July 1st. So,
Crosby extension. He's such a Blackhawk.
Where Malkin is to
no, I don't want that. I don't want that fraud.
Oh yeah, you're right. He's not a top 100 NHL player of all time.
Yeah, sorry. Right. Only top 100 players on the Blackhawks. Thank you very much. Maybe Ovechkin can sneak his way on the team. Maybe. We're getting a little carried away here.
Once he hits the goal record, he's going to be a Blackhawk.
Can't believe Ovechkin and Crosby. Not a top 100 player.
God.
Gosh, golly darn. Let's end it.
Yeah, because we can probably do this for another hour. Yeah, just like talk about random shit. All right. Yeah, this is a little bit shorter podcasting we usually do. Don't worry, next podcast. Well, we're a couple weeks away from the trade deadline. I think once we do next podcast next week, we'll probably do what we usually do at the deadline, and it's going through what trades we want to see be made. We'll do that. So yeah, if you're watching our beautiful faces on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new podcasts, and of course, smash that like button. And whatever podcast platform, smash. And whatever podcast platform you're on, whether that is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whichever darn tootin' platform you're listening on, give us a 5-star rating. So yeah, for Pius and Dylan, take it easy, y'all. We shall commence next time. Bye bye.